Hello. When we start teaching a beginner to play ukulele, we would normally start by teaching them to play chords. In music, the word chord is used to talk about playing several notes at the same time. And a ukulele player plays a chord, plays several notes at the same time, when they strum down their instrument. So you're effectively getting 4 notes there because each string has a different note. So when you strum down all 4 strings, that's a chord. And each chord has a different name. So when you get a song sheet, it will tell you which chords you need to play for that song. And the way you change the chord is by using your fingers on the fretboard so that you're actually changing the notes that the string plays. So on my A string, if there are no fingers on, plays an A, but if I put my finger there, what we would call the 3rd fret position, that string's playing a note C. That's not a chord, that's just a single note C. But if I wanted the chord of C, I would strum all of the strings, and that gives me the chord of C. Now C is quite a basic, simple chord because it only needs that one finger on. Some chords are a little bit more complicated than that. So for that reason, C is usually the first chord that we teach people. When you see chords written in a chord chart, you often have what's called a chord diagram. I've got a large version of a couple of chord diagrams here, and I was going to talk through them and explain them so that when you see a chord diagram, you understand what it's telling you. So this is the chord diagram for that chord that I've just played, the chord of C. So I'm going to go through everything that's in this diagram. Obviously the name of the chord is up there at the top. You've got 4 vertical lines in this diagram, and they relate to the strings on your ukulele. So if you hold your ukulele up like that, you can see the strings and the lines on the chord diagram relate to each other. The top line here relates to this part of the ukulele here where the strings go over onto the fretboard, and then the subsequent horizontal lines, they relate to these frets. Now the frets are these raised parts here on the fingerboard. So we would call this the 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and so on. Just as on the ukulele, this is 1st fret, 2nd fret and 3rd fret. So that's very much a pictorial representation of this part of the ukulele. The dot that you see, that tells you where to put your finger to make the C chord. And the number in the dot tells you which finger. So we number our fingers, we don't count the thumb. So finger 1 is your index finger, finger 2 is your longest finger, your middle finger, and finger 3, which is the finger that we need for our C chord, is your ring finger. Finger 4 is your pinky, your little finger. So that's how we number our fingers in ukulele playing. Now then, remember that I said this shows you the position of where you're going to put finger 3. So I know finger 3 is my ring finger, and the position I need it to be in to play a C chord is on this string, my A string, because it's on this vertical line, and it's in what we would call the 3rd fret position. When we say that, we don't actually mean it's on the fret, we mean it's just behind that 3rd fret. So probably about there. Because what you're aiming to do is to make the string just sit down against that 3rd fret. So that's what you're aiming to do. Obviously, I wouldn't play with my ukulele up here like that. I would play like here, but that position is still the same. So there's my C chord, my finger 3 on that position. Sometimes people put dots on their fingerboard to help remind them of when they're very first starting. That's absolutely fine if you want to do that. So if I was going to play my C chord, I get that C chord by holding that finger 3 in that position. That works the same for other chords too. So here's another example. Here's the chord of F. It works exactly the same. So now I'm going to use finger 1 and finger 2. So finger 1 is going to go on my E string. I'll hold up the ukulele so that you can kind of see how it works. So finger 1 is there, and finger 2 stretches right across to the G string, the top string there. And that's how the chord diagram works. So my F chord sounds like this. So as you're playing tunes, you need to try and memorise those chords so that your fingers move nice and quickly between them. We've prepared a chord sheet. There's a lot of chords on here, so don't panic, you won't need all of these straight away, but it's useful to have this as a reference. This isn't every single chord that exists, because that would be hundreds of chords, but we've called this the most used ukulele chords. So it's a handy reference, so that if you're playing a song, these are the ones that you're most likely to come across. So if you would like us to email you this, or any of our other fact sheets, then just drop us an email to ukulelesmiletime@gmail.com and we'll send this out to you. Hope you found that useful.